All right, everyone, another suggestion has been made. Pence seems to be on the forefront of talking about this, that the U.S. might consider a military option in the nation of Venezuela. And polling, according to the official legacy media of Venezuela, accordingly shows that about almost 80% of the Venezuelan people there would actually welcome the idea of U.S. intervention. That being said, I question the poll and I oppose the idea of actually marching into this nation. I guess the rationale being given generally as well. The U.S. keeps dicking around on foreign shores far away. Venezuela's not that far away, and, you know, Maduro is so vastly unpopular that maybe it's time that we bring our force to bear on him. I think that people are overlooking something when they say this. And this is why I oppose interventionism in Venezuela, beyond just the cost in terms of manpower and money. The other reason is, let's say that we did invade Venezuela. We get rid of Maduro. We manage to crush the military there if they actually bother to fight on his behalf, which is not 100% clear. We might be fighting communist guerrillas and socialist strike groups more than their military at that point. Let's say we do. When we march in, according to Caracas' own polling, most of the population would be like, oh, thank goodness this is over. Now we can reform our government, respect our constitution, and Big Buddy USA will, maybe invest here, actually help us. Yeah, that would probably all happen. You see, the problem is this. People are assuming that we would be sort of in and out very quickly. That we would come in, kill Maduro and his generals. Things very quickly would stabilize and most of the troops would leave. That's not the way the U.S. typically does business when it makes an investment into attacking another country. What would end up actually happening is we'd probably occupy the nation for a half-decade or more with significant troop levels. And the U.S. would be calling the shots at that point. Any government that forms would be subjugated to U.S. law temporarily. Unfortunately, what would happen, and this is a message to the people of the U.S. that might think it's a good idea to invade Venezuela. The public perception of the U.S. that at first would be quite happy. Oh, they've liberated us from a government that clearly didn't care about us anymore. And people aren't starving. We're getting U.S. food aid, and they're trying to invest in our infrastructure so that we can make money, so that we can have a stable economy. That perception would very quickly begin to change, because what you would get in a nation like Venezuela, with the socialist guerrilla movements there that are directly funded and armed by Maduro, above and beyond the military, we're talking about militias at this point. Those some tens of thousands of people would continue to fight in the same style that a group like the Taliban would fight, which means that the death toll would continue to mount on a day-to-day basis for years and years to come. When those reports begin airing on the Venezuelan news, and when people see that, oh, my little brother was killed, my dad was killed, they will begin to hate the United States. They will take up the same line against us and call us imperialists the same way Maduro does. Oh, the great Satan. That's exactly what would happen. Very quickly, it wouldn't be 79–80% of the people that want us there. It would be 10% of the people want us there. It would make the situation worse. It wouldn't bring lasting stability. The way to bring lasting stability in Venezuela can come in one of several forms. The first is to let them collapse. I mean actually back off the sanctioning and embargoing that we're doing against Venezuela, so that Maduro can't use us as an excuse for why his shitty economic policies don't work, because the nation will continue to suffer from prolonged deep recession. The economy there will continue to shrink. It is an oil-based economy in a world where oil prices have collapsed due to new oil resources being found. This will remain the case for some years to come. As a result, there's really no reason to sanction. So that's number one. Number two, we can apply more pressure in the diplomatic sense and use OAS. This is probably the best possible situation. Get the Colombians involved. Get the Brazilians and Peruvians involved. Get people from the same general region involved as opposed to ourselves marching in. If Colombia wants to say, We're tired of Maduro. We're worried we're going to get like attacked by Venezuela, so we're just going to move in and get rid of him. That might work. The people there are from the same continent. They share a land border. They have vaguely similar cultures in some ways and speak the same language. A bunch of English-speaking U.S. troops from a different continent show up. After people there have been told that we're the great Satan for the last 20 years, it's going to cause major, major problems. And so it could take a military form but not involve the United States. The third possibility is pure diplomatic pressure from those Latin American states. Let them continue to tell the Venezuelan people, well, you need to do something about Maduro, and let the people of Venezuela oust him. I understand they've been disarmed largely. The military continues to back Maduro mysteriously at the moment, but that may change at any given time. You may find that Venezuela devolves into a civil war, wherein it's essentially the vast majority of the people plus most of the military against military defectors, socialist guerrillas, and Maduro loyalists. Now, the latter loses. They would be outnumbered 10-1 at that point. We should not be the ones to get involved, though. Also, we're too distracted right now. We're already overstretched. We're talking about sending more soldiers to Afghanistan. What are we going to do in Syria? We need to buff up resources in the Korean Peninsula. Can we really weather that? Even if it is closer and requires less projective force, even if Venezuela is surrounded by states that would be perfectly willing to let us march through their territory and dock our ships around there, even then it would still cost a lot. It would require a lot of manpower. It may get messy. Venezuela's military doesn't have the ability really to target our naval and air assets effectively. That's definitely true. But it's going to be seen as a power grab. What you may end up with is China might try to get involved on their behalf and say, well, back off. And then we end up in a diplomatically strangulated proxy conflict of sorts, where there are some U.S. troops there fighting alongside other various forces, and it turns into a clusterfuck. Destroys Venezuela, makes it worse, actually, and then people blame us. It's better to not be involved so that Maduro can take virtually 100% of the blame. It's obvious that his approval now is probably in the single digits or teens somewhere. That is, you have to be a hardcore socialist loyalist or a state-funded militiaman to really give a fuck about Maduro at this point. He will eventually lose power. He will eventually be ousted. By hook or by crook, something will cause him to no longer be able to exercise control. He gets killed. The military revolts and forces him out of office. The people revolt and refuse to partake in any form of work and demand the rest of OAS come and liberate them. But it shouldn't be the United States. Even if it looks... Look, we were told that there was glowing praise for U.S. intervention in Iraq when we invaded there. We were told, oh yeah, the majority of the Iraqi people like us, and they want to get rid of Saddam. Look at this picture of them beating his statue with their shoes. That's, you know, basically a staged photo. Oh, they love us so much. And look, you know, years and years later, what happened in Iraq. That'd be a terrible idea to get involved in Venezuela. We should take a hands-off approach. By the way, that means no giving them aid until the regime collapses. We can perhaps use that as leverage. Because the idea is that you want the regime to collapse. Tell the Venezuelan people, how much longer are you going to be willing to suffer under this bullcrap? You know, I've seen several apologists, I think one of them was from Vice, if I remember correctly, go there and they went to the one state-run store that the average person can't afford in, like, the middle of Caracas. Oh, there's plenty of food here. There's no shortage. Yeah, like you're going to some outland village to find people that are trading toilet paper squares instead of money because it's worth more. Yeah, okay. That one place you visited is representative of the whole fucking country. No, I think that was a propaganda piece. It's kind of obvious what's going on in Venezuela when everybody else in the region, even other socialist regimes, are pissed off at Maduro. It's like when people tell me on North Korea, oh, it's just propaganda that they do nuke tests and stuff. It's confirmed by their state media and by their friends in China. It's not coming from I'm not getting the story from the Western media. I'm looking over at China and getting their take on it. When China's saying, yeah, go ahead and sanction them some more, there's a reason for that. They didn't do it for decades and decades. They sheltered them. Don't try to friggin', you know, play around with my brain. It's not going to work. You just see you're straw manning the whole conversation. You're fixated. You're hoping that I won't notice that their state media brags about every nuclear test, every missile test, about the fact that they intend to wipe out Seoul or something. The same is true with Venezuela. It's you're looking at the Venezuelan media is critical of Maduro at this point. Now, sort of on the down low at times. They don't want to get purged, I think, or thrown into a re-education camp, which is common in left-wing regimes. But Venezuela will collapse because its economic situation can't sustain things. And it's Chavez's fault. It's not just Maduro's fault. People loved Chavez down there. Oh, he's such a great man. No, he set the stage for your failure. There's a reason why Chavez's childhood home was torched. And people are starting to realize, oh shit, we've been doing the wrong thing this whole time because nobody bothered to invest in anything other than oil. That's great when oil prices are high. It's shitty once oil prices decline. Chavez never cared. And he died before the problems came, and then Maduro took over. So Maduro gets all the blame. More than half the blame is Chavez. I'd be surprised if significant numbers of people in Venezuela can even use the outside internet. I'm surprised Maduro hasn't cracked down on that too. Probably worried that if the tech literate classes there don't get their dank memes, they'll revolt immediately and he'll really lose power. Pretty soon they'll be disfiguring his face so he looks like Pepe and painting him green or something. But we should sit back. We can apply all the diplomatic pressure we want. Economic pressure is double-edged sword because it gives something for Maduro to whine about when we put sanctions on his nation. As far as military intervention goes, no. We should not, no, don't put a single man in Venezuela. Even if other countries invade, just sit back and let them do it. Let them handle it. It's their part of the world. It's not our part of the world. Yeah, Monroe Doctrine up in this bitch. Okay, well, no foreign entity is trying to invade Venezuela. It's an internal conflict within the Americas. Let the Venezuelan people and people in nations around Venezuela handle it. We don't need to get involved. We don't need more stupid wars. That's about all. Peace out.